super short, okay? Super short. Hear me.
Why do you guys keep on bringing stuff up all the time?
Because you're both.
Anyway, Truett, here we go. 2 examples, okay? And they are very short, and your homework is short as well. The first example is how to find the area of the circle. Now you have the formula. What's the formula for the area of a circle?
Pi.
Pi times what?
Pi times 2.
The radius squared, right? Pi r squared. Okay, so if that's the formula for the area of a circle, this says if the diameter of a circle is 16 meters, what is the area? So let's draw a picture. Let's say you have a circle, and they told us you have a diameter. What's a diameter? The whole thing, the whole way across the circle through the center. Okay, that's a diameter. So it says the diameter is 16 meters. Okay. The question is, what is the area of the circle?
It would be like 8.
There we go. So if the area formula is pi r squared, you first have to figure out what is r. R stands for? Radius. And what do you know about a radius?
It's the circle.
It's not the circle.
It's the line that cuts through the circle.
It's the line that cuts through the circle, but only halfway, right? This is a radius. So how long is our radius?
8.
It is 8. So the radius is always half of the diameter. If the diameter is 16, then the radius is 8 meters. Okay, so if we're trying to find the area of the circle, we're just going to take that 8 and we're going to drop it in. So pi times 8 squared is 64, and then we attach the pi. I think a lot of times people see this. So my geometry students in my other classes already took this test, right? And so many of them told me this was the answer, which it is, but it's not complete. You have to label it. And I think people see pi and they think, oh, I labeled my answer. 64 pi meters. And then what do you do with area? What do you do with area?
Square it.
You square it, right? So meters squared. So the area of this circle would be 64 pi square meters. Okay? Okay, I'm going to give you 2 more to make sure we've got this. So if you want to draw a circle, draw a circle. That's bad.
I forgot it last week too. It was in my second backpack.
To be honest.
You don't have a calculator?
Give it to my brother.
Get a calculator.
Yes, he's in middle school.
You look
Twins.
Of course, yeah, he looks just like him. Of course, what's your brother's name?
Oh yeah, what is your brother's name?
Probably like.
Swamp.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of
Lake?
another.
Is it Lake?
What's your brother's name?
I have 4 brothers. Lake?
Dustin?
My brother is not Dustin. We have no relation.
Anyway, okay. Hey, my turn. I want you to find 2 things for each of these, okay? Hear me. Truett, you with me?
Yeah.
I want you to find the circumference, and I want you to find the area of both of these circles. The formulas are on the board. You wrote them in this morning, pi d and pi r squared. 2 different circles with 2 different pieces of information. What is the circumference and what is the area? All right, let's talk about it, okay? Here's the deal. Circumference is pi d. Yeah, well, you're talking about your brother. That's why you're not done. Pi d. Pi r squared. Okay, listen. So on this top one, do you have a radius or a diameter currently? A diameter. This is a diameter when it goes all the way across. So when we do pi d, it's pi times what? 12. 12, right. So this is just 12 pi inches, okay? Pi 12 I wouldn't mark you wrong for either, but we usually put the number that's a numeral in front of the pi. How do you find the area for this then? If it's pi r squared,
Square it.
square what?
Pi. No, 12.
Not 12 though. What's r? What's your radius in this circle? Remember, a radius is half the length.
6.
So this would be 6, right? So you would do pi times the radius squared. Stop it. So that's 36 pi, and then label it square inches. Okay. Does that make sense for that one? Okay, now this next one is a totally different problem because they give you different information, but you're using the exact same formulas. Right? Circumference is pi d, area is pi r squared. Sorry, my 4 is quite messy. That's 4 centimeters. We'll just do that. So how do I find the circumference? Pi times the diameter. What would the diameter be? The diameter would be 8, right? If the radius is 4, then the whole distance across, I should write it here, is 8, okay? So pi times diameter is 8 times pi centimeters. What's the area? 16 times pi, right? It's pi times the radius squared. So that's 16 pi. And how do you label area? Is it centimeters? Centimeters squared, right? Area is always square units. So 8 pi centimeters for circumference, 16 pi centimeters squared for area. Okay? So circumference and area. If it asks you to round to the nearest tenth, do you remember what you do? Plug into your calculator 16 pi, enter, and it will give you a decimal. Okay? Typically, I'll just ask you for this one. Okay, last thing. We talked about all these area formulas, right? And perimeter formulas. This shape, we don't have a formula for. So how can we find the area of this shape?
Maybe split it.
Split it. I love it. Draw some lines. How would you split this? There's not a right way. There are wrong ways, but there's lots of right ways too. Draw lines where you would split it. What would you split this into? Would you split it into 3 rectangles horizontally, 3 rectangles vertically? Would you split it into all squares? Okay, rectangles and squares. Draw some lines.
Too many?
Yeah, it's my shirt.
Is this too many?
So how are you splitting it? Oh, you're finding perimeter right now. Area.
I'm never yelling that much for football ever again.
What I want you to do is
I went to the volleyball game and I was yelling.
That's
and
not
then
what we're doing right
and then
now.
Saturday
I asked you
went
to
to
split it.
My adults hurts. Can this
Yeah, that's great.
That's
That's actually probably the one that is the quickest.
This one?
Uh-huh.
Let me see.
Xavier, what'd you do?
Put it in squares.
Break it up.
Oh.
Horizontal. Like it. Okay, I'm gonna show you a couple different ways. Okay.
That means everything.
First of all, before we do area, let's talk perimeter real fast. Okay. So hear me. We're gonna get to area, but perimeter, you have a 9 here. What do these little marks mean? They're congruent to the same number of marks, right? So this is 9 also. So all of these are congruent, which means they are how long? 3, right? Same as that top one. Okay, so if I want to find the perimeter of this, what do I do?
Add it all up.
Just add it all up. So perimeter would be 9 plus 9 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 threes. I'm just going to go 6 times 3, okay? But you can go 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 6 times. That's fine. So this is 18 plus, oh, look at that, 18. So the perimeter would be 36 centimeters. Okay. The area is what they're asking us for, though. So you should be able to find both. But if we're talking area here, some of you split it into rectangles horizontally. Some of you split it into rectangles vertically. I'm going to show you the one that's actually the quickest, but it requires the most drawing. This is the one that Dakota did. If I break this into all boxes that are identical, what's the area of this box? Just that top single box.
Wait, why is that one? Oh, that's
Not 12. What do we multiply here? It's a 3 by 3 box. 3 by 3 is 9 square units, right? So this would be 9. Well, here's the beauty of this one. Every single one of those boxes is the same size. So that means you know the area of every box without having to calculate the area anymore, right? So the area of each box is 9. How many of them are there?
7. Oh, 6.
6. So 9 times 6 is 54 square centimeters. Okay, so you can do it that way if you want. Let's look at a different way.
But those are two different answers.
No. This is area now. The first one was perimeter. Now we're talking area. Okay, what if we split it? I saw some of you do it this way. Okay, if we go 3 rectangles, the area of a rectangle is base times height, right? Base times height. So in this first one, you have 3 by 3, which is 9. But what are the dimensions of the second one? What are the dimensions of this middle rectangle? What by what? What's this? By 3. This one's 3. This one is 3 and 3, so 6, right? So 6 by 3 is 18. If we multiply those, 6 times 3, what are the dimensions of this last one?
9 by
9 down here by, what's this one?
9. 9 by 9?
3 vertically. No, 3, right? Because it's all the individual. So 9 times 3 is 27. So you could go 9 plus 18 plus 27, but guess what? You still get 54 square centimeters. Okay? So the beauty of it is you have options. If you see it different than your neighbor, it's okay. It still works. Okay? Questions on that? Okay, so if you see a funky shaped figure, break it into different figures that you know how to find the area of and find those areas and just add them all together. All right.